Hello and welcome to the Worn and Wound podcast. My name is Blake Buettner, and I'm in studio today at our headquarters in Brooklyn. I've got a few people at the table, nobody in any screens today. We've got Zach Weiss here. Hey, Zach, how are you?
Hey, I'm good. It's been a minute.
It is, yeah. It's always love having you on the podcast, of course.
Well, thanks. I can't make it.
Didn't have to travel too far this time.
No.
So that works out well. We've got Thomas Calara over there. Thomas, hey, welcome. How are you?
What's up, fellas? It's been a longer minute for me. So,
yeah, it's nice to have you back on. Yeah. And then, of course, Patrick. We've got Patrick on. It's a very, Big Lebowski vibe shirt that you're wearing.
Oh, yeah.
Right there.
Shout out to Urban Outfitters,
Okay.
supplying Big Lebowski clothing.
Yeah, it looks...
Thanks. I've still not seen Big Lebowski. I feel like you reference it constantly.
Oh my God.
Yeah, no. I know I know a lot of the iconic bowling ball moments.
Bowling ball moments? Wow. Okay. All right.
Yeah, it's a bowling ball film.
So we recorded. Wow. It's a bowling ball. It's a film about bowling, really.
With some of the grass.
You think about Kingpin?
Yeah, I was gonna say when I think of a bowling film, I think Kingpin.
Yeah,
I've never seen Big
Kingpin.
Lebowski.
Is a bowling film. If you had if you didn't know anything about the Big Lebowski, but you've seen the preview or something, you might think, oh, it's like a bowling film.
There's certainly elements of bowling,
but
to say this, the crux of it does not take place at bowling alleys.
Okay.
The movie is about a rug.
Really?
Really?
Okay. Duly noted.
All the dude ever wanted was his rug back. We recorded a time on screen earlier today.
Yeah.
About Speed.
Okay.
You did.
And he had never seen Speed either.
Oh
What?
my!
No.
That's a
Okay.
crime.
A, how come I didn't know about this?
Yeah.
B, you've never seen Speed?
Yeah.
No.
My God.
That's a crime.
No.
It was
Okay.
It was a lot of fun, actually.
All right. Oh man.
But
Who
he's
was on? Kazan and
but
you?
yeah, me and Kazan. But unlike Lebowski, where you're it's some kind of bowling movie, you did accurately surmise Speed. You're like, what is it, like a bus that blows up if it stops or something?
Yeah.
And we're basically that's a wrap. Yep.
Yeah.
That's spot on.
That's the movie.
For sure.
Yeah.
No, Big Lebowski is more nuanced. Okay.
Oh yes, you can watch The Big Lebowski 100 times and pick up little subtleties of the story and of characters, and it's weird. And but I feel like nowadays it's like a love or hate kind of a thing. People kind of be like, oh,
it's so hyped that
Yeah.
I feel like it's cool not to like it also, but it's
Oh, cool.
a good movie though. It's a very good movie.
You
Coen
must-
Brothers.
You must have been bummed about not being on that Speed podcast,
I'm a little bit.
considering all the times we've referenced Keanu Reeves' G-Shock or
Yeah,
right the
that's-
cast
yeah,
on the
yeah.
podcast.
well-known Keanu
Yeah.
fan here. No,
Yeah.
I don't know.
Are you?
No, I don't know.
I've just seen the Matrix series and John Wick. I can't really say I've seen anything else from
You
him.
haven't seen Point Break 100 times?
No, not even
Another
the one.
good bowling film. Actually, that's a surfing movie.
John,
I knew
yeah, it is a surfing.
I knew that was a surfing movie though.
Yeah.
But I don't know.
Wow. No.
We've got to do the
I'm glad
recasting podcast again.
We'll do something.
Yeah.
I wasn't on the Contact one either. I think I had something else
No.
come up. I was supposed to be, and I'm a huge Carl Sagan fan, so I was a little bummed by that. But
Yeah, I listened to that and then promptly watched the movie. And I told Kat and Zach this in Slack, but I think that's one of two movies that is perfectly acceptable to cry during.
Point Break.
Okay.
No, well, actually, it's been a minute, but no, Contact. It's Contact and Lord of the Rings: Return of the King. The last 45 minutes, you're just allowed to cry the whole time.
What movie did I cry to? I feel like Saving Private Ryan, the ending, is the only time I've cried in a theater.
Really?
Man.
Yeah, the patriotism really got me. I'm just like, man, I'm really proud to be American.
There's a lot of reasons during Contact to cry, but the for Carl at the very end, oh man, it's rough.
For
It's
Carl?
tough. For Carl Sagan. Carl Sagan. Okay. He didn't actually get to see the film. Anyway, listen to the podcast. Great podcast. By our colleagues.
Anyways, listen to the podcast. It's good. For the record, I said I like short hair Keanu. I wouldn't mind to see that. He looks good in short hair. Patrick, what are you wearing on your wrist?
Sure. I'm wearing the quartz watch, of course. Only the finest.
Okay.
Seiko SBBN 045 sapphire crystal, kids. Just so you know. Steel shroud. I've hit this against a brick wall. I've hit it against so many things, and it still looks flawless.
That's the Worn and Wound way.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
smack your watch into stuff.
Give your watch a smack.
Yeah, do it.
Put that on a sticker. Yeah, it's great. I love this watch so much, and the bracelet's really growing on me. I didn't like the aesthetic at first, but it's all I wear it on. Tried it on an MN strap. Shout out Erica. But no, this is what I gravitate towards.
It looks a little loose on you. I'm just gonna
yeah.
But you can fit a finger into
Try
it.
to keep it loose.
That's the-
Yeah,
that's
try
the
to keep it loose.
The
so I get
dude
that
keeps it
finger.
loose. You know?
That's the Big Lebowski vibes right there, man.
He does. He's got half the shirt button on.
Yeah, exactly. He's got those sleeves
Michael,
rolled up.
I wanted to just barely almost roll over the side of my wrist, but not.
Oh, that would bother me to no end. But all right.
Well, here's the thing. I like to push it up when I'm on my laptop, and I don't ding up my laptop. I don't ding up my bracelet. But when you've got it tight and up against, it's prone to touch metal that way.
Just put a little leather pad on your laptop.
God, no, that's excessive. No.
Even the frames, listener, you gotta check the video out. If this goes up, the frames is just like completing the outfit. So
I need to watch Big Lebowski.
yeah.
Yes. Thomas, what are you wearing over there?
So I have the Explorer 14270. Zach had mentioned the other day that when I'm just in office, I'm just always wearing watches that are in for review. So I figured I'd try to wear something that I own. So
I mean, it's a thing. It's acceptable.
Stop doing your job.
It does come with a job. I think we all are all wearing watches that we own right
Right
now.
moment, yeah.
For sure. And it's on the bracelet, and I can't wear this watch on anything else but the bracelet. So
That's reasonable.
Yeah.
I tried my friends on again recently, and
Right.
really is the only Rolex that tempts me. Is that
You always
one.
say that, man. Yeah, for
Yeah.
sure. I'll let you hold
the
on to this
trigger.
watch, man.
Who else was
Just
tempted?
do it.
Our friend and a podcast alum Thomas Hall was also messaging me asking
Oh, really?
about it.
Interesting.
Watch symmetry on Instagram. So
Yeah,
I
man.
said, yeah, it's a great juxtaposition to have next to the sub because he's a sub as well, I think. But no, big fan of that watch. Zach, what do you got on over there?
What do I have on here? I have on a Porsche Orfina 7177 in green PVD. This was an unexpected pickup. One of those ones where, you don't get the opportunity to buy these very often. And this is the second time I've had the opportunity, and the first time I went for it, and it turned out to be a faked version or semi-faked, like a recoded version. For the people who can't see, this is a green PVD Porsche Orfina. They're very rare. They can't be replaced. Like the coating cannot be done at this point. The technology that was lost to time, apparently, the green coating. So there are ones out there that look very green. If they're too green, they're wrong. It's kind of a muted olive brown kind of a color.
Yeah.
And
There's a warmth to it almost.
It's so sharp.
They're
It's so sharp.
super rare, and this one happened to be complete new old stock set with bracelet and packaging and paper and everything.
Yeah, it's just stunning.
So-
It's a dead stock example of this.
Yeah.
The strap that you have it on right now is also part of that.
Yeah, I've totally I've done the thing you probably shouldn't do, and I took a new old stock strap and I strapped it on, but it's a matching olive green bund strap that works. I mean, it's literally made for it. Works perfectly. And it's either this, put it on a completely different strap or potentially mess up the bracelet, and the bracelet's PVD coated as well, so it's like those
You should totally
that
size
has
it.
to kind of be preserved. Well,
Set that
so
aside.
I've now apparently become a Porsche Orfina collector. That's my thing that happened this year. So I have 3 of these watches now. I'll just put it out there. I'm that guy. And I have a black version, also the Mathey 5100 power, which I had completely refinished. So that one is like mine to screw up kind of a thing. Whereas this one, I think it should be worn lightly,
The hardware on this, the strap, is that...
The hardware, that's what was there.
That's what was there.
That's what was there. Unfortunately, it's not PVD coated. And judging by because I tried to actually take it off, and when I was putting the bund strap on it the first time, I was like, did I have to remove that? And it's definitely the old springboard. Like, it hasn't been replaced.
Oh, wow.
So
That's
it's just that it's unfortunate that it's like a neutral,
Yeah.
I imagine just the supplier that they got it from, kind of a thing.
I feel like that doesn't bother me, that one. Like, it annoys me sometimes when there's not sometimes, all the time when there's like mismatching hardware. But I just feel like on that, it's just like, it's that olive green throughout, but then like that silver buckle is like there. That doesn't bother me there. Yeah.
I could actually, I haven't really thought about it too much, but I could see putting like a black buckle on here might be a little bit, like a matte black buckle might be a little more.
To go with the dial. Yeah. I get that.
Yeah, it's truly a stunning watch, though. The dial, the case, all of it, on the bund, on the bracelet. In particular, what are we gonna do with all these?
I gotta get something together. Because I have the 3 vintage ones. You have the modern one.
Got the modern one. We got to do something with it.
Yeah,
with
there's a story to tell.
Yeah,
I'm sure. But
it's Yeah, three is it's a collector, right?
I think
if you got 2, you're an enthusiast. If you got 3, or
and I have a version. Well, and
2 isn't enough, but 3 is too many.
And it's not 3 of the exact same thing either. Although somebody might look at them and be like, "Those are the exact same thing." They're not. They're in fact not. I have the 77501, which is what Tom Cruise wears in Top Gun, the Maverick edition. It's not called that. And then I have the 7176, which is the black PVD one, which has a tachometer and the Porsche Design logo on it, which is what like your version is based on. And then this is the military version, which says military, has the 12-hour insert and the 3H on the list.
The 3H.
That is the one. That is the one, in my opinion. I love that so much.
Yeah, this is
a trifecta.
Just so stunning.
But
yeah.
I'm very happy with it.
Congrats again, by the way. Is this your first time mentioning it on the podcast?
Yeah, it is. I haven't been on it in a minute.
So there you go. Yeah, we'll have to link to a few different pictures of it if they exist somewhere.
Yeah, I've taken a few. I'll send some over.
Maybe that'll be the header lead-in image on the post. If you didn't know, we put these podcasts as posts on our website, which is wornandwound.com. Head over there and check it out.
Maybe you've heard of it.
You went to the podcast, but not the website.
Maybe this is a surprise to some people that are just like podcasts and like, wait, you guys,
you run a site?
It's just like
all we really do all day is like write about watches and stuff, and then every now and then we jump on here to record about watches. So, anyways, we review watches, we all that kind of stuff. I've got a Zin U50 on the gray. What is this called? The Matte Supreme NATO, which I quite like. On here, I've been wearing I just picked up a Seiko SPB 317, and I put the same strap on it. It kind of gave me a desire to wear this the next day. I don't know why. There's a similar like vibe that they give me or something about them.
Like that you bought the Seiko, got the Seiko, and it made you want to wear something else.
Well, look, I wore that for like the last day or two, and I've really enjoyed it. But there's something about it and it's hard. Like when you're thinking about these things and you're wearing them for a while for like review, they bring other things to mind and other experiences that maybe you want to write about, or at least kind of help you contextualize something that you're trying to articulate in an article. So you'll kind of go back and forth or to other things to kind of capture that and help you do it. So, but I want to come back to this just a little bit, just because today, as we record this, watch from Porsche Design was released with around the 911 Dakar that was just released. And the one that was released today, it says 911 Dakar on the dial, but it will be only for buyers of that car, and there's only like a couple thousand of them, and you got to be like a real important person in the Porsche world to even have a chance at getting one of those. And
it's like hard to get 911. It's extra hard to get a weird 911.
Yeah, well, I think getting like a GT, not like a GT3 911 is like hard. Getting like GT3 RS is like really hard. And then getting like one of these sport classics or like a limited edition one.
Yeah. So I haven't looked at I looked at the watch. I didn't look at the car. So, but knowing what the car is, so did they make like a production like Safari off-road 911? Is it absolutely batshit insane and amazing?
It's very cool. Yep, it's very cool. They introduced it in the Rothman's colorway. It's got a full roof rack situation, and it's lifted suspension. I think it has the 3-liter flat 6, obviously. The 475 horsepower or something like that. You don't really need the big gun, the big 4-liter, crazy bonkers ballistic engine in this one.
2 different drive modes.
Yeah, different drive modes, and it's got like all the the racks, the lights, all this kind of stuff. It looks like the absolute business.
Have they ever done a production like off-road 911 like this before?
No.
That's rad.
And this is something that some modifiers have done it.
Yeah. Well, I've seen like Singer did some like really cool ones and whatever.
Yeah, that's really gnarly.
I didn't realize that I figured that they were just making the watch for the livery car that is in the Dakar race, not that there was a production car.
Yeah, there's a production car. They will make limited, I think 2,500 of, 2,400 of, something like that.
Yeah, 2,500.
And
which
then
is actually, more than I would have expected.
Yeah.
Considering it's a car.
Yeah, exactly.
How many watches are there?
So it'll be interesting to see. I'm sure these will shoot up to double, triple retail like in no time. Once sadly, the same sickness afflicts other areas as well. But if you're like Jerry Seinfeld or something, those are the types that are.
So you can also can you get it in this like minty green color? I want a car
you'll
and driver.
Be able to spec it out, like how you want.
Oh my god!
And it's funny because they brought a little bit of this into the watch as well. Thomas, you wrote about it. Maybe you can describe a little bit.
Yeah, for sure. So there's two different models. You have the 911 Dakar and then the 911 Dakar Rally Design. Essentially, the 911 Dakar is all black subdials, and then the 911 Dakar Rally Design has the you mentioned the Rothman. Is that what it's called? The Rothman.
Well, but this is
the stripe, the rally stripes.
Part of it on the watch dial is referential exactly to that, but it's like a colorful.
It does have the blue, yellow, red stripe to it.
Would be that,
right? Yeah. And then also, funny like a cool connection here. Your Porsche Design has the 3H.
You can just call it my Porsche.
Your Porsche, yeah. Your olive green Porsche. Yeah, your Porsche has a 3H, and this one has that a little tribute to that. It has the T uppercase T, lowercase I, uppercase C. So stands for titanium carbide, right?
So they made the material for this case or for this watch.
Yeah.
So and obviously, like with them being available only to buyers of the car, they got to be making this for other just regular average Joes.
Right.
That watch looks really nice,
like us, but it's pretty cool, right? And
it's a flyback also.
And it's a flyback. Yeah, I think
Zach,
it's like
you don't need it.
Well, I can't get it. I'll work on the car first. If I get the car, maybe I'll think about the watch.
I don't care for the 911 Dakar being on the dial. If they took that off and put, I don't know, just left it sterile or something, I think it would be the absolute business.
What about the rim on the case back?
Yeah, so
I don't care for that.
Yeah.
So that actually, you can spec that out. So the winding rotor, if you go on their configurator, you can actually choose between a black, a white, or a silver winding rotor. And if you kind of go through that configurator, it is kind of like going through like a car configurator, which is kind of like a nice touch there as well. So
it's modeled. It looks a lot like the Porsche Design's configurator.
Right.
I imagine if you got like a PTS color on your 911 Dakar, they would do that for the rotor. At least I would hope.
Right.
Like I went through all this trouble. I got the car. I got I'm paying $14,000.
It's a cool
dollars for the thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Flex.
So I'll say this though. It's sort of adding insult to injury that you have to have the car to buy this watch. I feel like part of the cool thing about a watch that sort of celebrates a car is that it's accessible to, those of us who can't buy $250,000 cars or whatever.
Yeah.
Even though it's still $14,500, it's already a limiting factor. Just make it available.
So the owner's watch, you just don't like the idea of like owner's watches when it comes to vehicles?
Should there also be? I think it would say the same thing about Autodromos.
Yeah,
but they had like a pedestrian, a commoner model.
Yeah, I mean they did do another model that still celebrated it, but I also say for them like that watch was so exotic for Autodromo, and that it basically was designed to be built one at a time, which I don't think would be practical for them to try and do at another scale. So like. I feel like Bradley gets a pass for that one, but this is
true. Yeah.
It's also like that's the Ford GT supercar. So it's like such its own thing.
Yeah.
This is more like Porsche's Porsche. It's a household name of something. I don't know.
Yeah.
Whatever. It's a
you want the watch to be
still a $14,000 watch, so it's not like it's ever accessible.
But like they wouldn't go through the trouble of making like that's a new case design, right? And that's they made a whole new material, titanium carbide, to make it like surely a standard production version of this thing
at some point, right?
Yeah, I want to know about that case material a little bit more. I mean, because it also has the PVD pushers, but then the case is like a different tone of gray.
Right.
Yeah.
Oof.
Yeah. Apparently
imagine if it was green.
Right. Yeah. Apparently, though, that combination causes that like powdery, like charcoalish color on that case. So I mean it's quite a thing.
It's
very cool.
It's really cool. I would love to see a normal version of this thing.
So if you buy the Dakar, let us know.
If you bought a Dakar, I mean, like I feel like if you're gonna pop for the car,
you buy Dakar.
Well, that's and I think that's sort of what they're thinking. It's like it's a gimme.
Yeah,
you're just gonna.
So when you go to the page on Porsche Design's website, you have to fill out a thing to register interest, and you have to list your authorized dealer for Porsche. And then they like send it to it's all like through I don't know. So, anyways, check that out. We've got more of that on the site right now. And like you said, it's a flyback chronograph version of that Work 14 or whatever it is.
Yeah.
So, but it's a cool looking watch nonetheless. I feel like we've been seeing this a lot lately of like novel materials being used in the watch cases these days. Norcane has their Nortec. Even just today, I think, was it today? Maybe yesterday. Oris did the 3. That's not a new material.
Is that out yet? When is this airing? This is airing next Wednesday. Yeah. That's out.
It's out.
Yeah. I'm confused. Right? We're talking in the future.
We are. Yeah.
We are in the future. You hear us in the future from where we're at.
We dodged a bullet.
Yeah, that one's...
What did Oris release?
It's a
polycarbonate.
It's a pilot watch. It's a Pro Pilot, and it's got like a faded, like orange to
gradient
black dial, gradient dial. But the case looks like it's like 3D printed kind of.
The Oris Coulson limited edition, made out of 3D printed carbon fiber, and it has a gradient orange-red dial, and it has to do with the aerial firefighters from Coulson Aviation.
So when you order it, they just give you the schematics and you use your 3D printer to make it?
No.
Wow.
Okay.
Yeah.
How
Not
far
yet.
off are we from that?
How cool would that be? I mean, it's...
Buy a license to make one in your thing, and
why not?
And we'll release the schematics.
Comes with an NFT or something. I don't know.
Yeah.
So,
exactly.
Make sure it's authentic.
Yeah.
It's got to be on the blockchain.
Yeah.
I don't know if you could 3D print a movement. They might send that in the mail.
Yeah.
With a crown.
We'll send you the movement.
Yeah, we'll send you the movement. You print and they still charge you full price.
Or maybe it's like just a cartridge that it contains all that stuff that you just pop into your printer, and then it would like do the rest.
Be pretty gnarly. Yeah.
Oh, that's kind of cool. And then you can make it whatever color or texture or finish or something like that.
Love it, Oris.
Okay.
Great thinking. That's not how this is done, though. They send you the watch complete.
But to my knowledge, this is,
to be clear,
this isn't the only 3D printed watch, but it is, I think, the first 3D printed carbon fiber watch, or at least one that's available from a major brand.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think a brand that we're all pretty fond of, the Holton Rich, does a kind of a 3D printed situation, but it's a metallic.
Yeah, it's a metal. It's like laser sintering or something like that. Yeah.
Really awesome.
Yeah, very cool brand. Yeah.
Really cool looking.
This is cool. It's quite forward thinking for Oris. Striking dial too. It's like a blaze.
Yeah, it's handsome. If you're into that kind of thing. So I don't know if
Caliber 400.
Caliber 400.
Yep.
There you go. More and more.
The list grows.
Yeah. We also had another release that I wanted to get your guys' take on. The Mathey-Tissot and Massena LAB watch.
Yes.
One standard chronograph, and then one of them is a flyback Type 20 type deal. So this was a collaboration again with Massena LAB. Here it looks pretty true to the original.
Yeah.
As far as I can tell.
And it's riffing specifically on the Brigade Type 20 that Massena has in his collection. So if you go check out his Instagram, you'll see him wearing that.
Right. Yeah.
Which so it's a little different looking than the Mathey-Tissot. Because if you go to Mathey-Tissot and you look up Type 20, they have Type 20s that are very similar.
Yeah.
But subtly different.
Yeah. Yeah, it's kind of it's a big eye design as well.
Yeah.
But no, I think it's sharp looking. And it seems to be pretty like authentic to the original. I feel like more like I'm seeing. Maybe it's just that I'm paying attention to them more, but I feel like I'm seeing more flyback.
I was just thinking that
chronographs like coming
out
in
this
lately.
Conversation.
Yeah.
And then I saw Hanhart appears to be teasing a flyback.
Really?
Okay.
Yeah.
They're one of the few brands that usually has had a flyback in their line of some kind.
Yeah.
But yeah, TBD on what that is. It might be out by the time this is airing. But yeah, they're using like, let's look it up. But they're being like coy about it in their social media. Where there's like a picture. We fly back in time and still move forward as we celebrate. Okay.
Yeah.
And there's a photo of a column wheel on the back there.
A collective
so could be interesting.
Yeah. We see.
Nice pun.
We see what you're doing here. Okay. Yeah.
Flyback's the new norm, I guess. Right?
Yeah, it's not enough to just have a chronograph anymore.
Well, we want true GMTs. We want flyback chronographs. True.
Right.
Yeah.
We need it all.
Are we getting pickier and pickier? Like we're getting more and more like spoiled for choices, and as we are, we're getting more and more. Well,
maybe it's just more accessible, and that's cool.
Yeah.
I like that a lot.
Yeah, there's something for everyone out there. So
it's cool design. I think the big eye, it's interesting that it's not really highlighted or outlined in any sense. So you don't really get the sense that it's a big eye until you look at the numerals surrounding it.
Mm-hmm.
You're like, well, I have more of that 2 and more of that 4 cut off than the 10 and the 8. But it's a cool look. We just shot the A Week in Watches earlier, and you're mentioning Hemel, and I feel like they've had a similar design in their catalog for some time as well.
Yeah, they've done their own versions, and then they also did a collaboration with Mathey-Tissot before this. So it's actually a very similar watch, but it doesn't have the oversized numerals, and there's not a flyback. But yeah, it's co-branded. So yeah, I mean, like I said on Weekend Watches, these are very limited in quantity. It's 25 of the flyback, 99 of the regular, and judging by how Massena LAB watches sell, probably gone pretty fast.
Yeah, they're both sub $2,000 though, right?
One's like 29.
The flyback is 29,
and then the other one is 19.99, I think.
Yeah.
So
okay.
They're well priced.
It's reasonably priced.
Yeah.
I feel like, but the flyback one, what was the movement?
Arola 7750.
That's right.
Which I didn't know about, but apparently Arola has historical ties, I think, to the original movements that were made, and that's why they work with them. And I went to their website, and it's like, a website that was designed 25 years ago. They appear to be like a movement modification company. Okay. So it's still, I think, a 7750 base, hence the...
Yeah. Like a lot of chronographs.
Yeah, exactly.
Kind of a familiar design there, so... well, cool. Yeah. Speaking of exotic materials, I have a watch in front of me. It's a watch from Zodiac, and it has a Meteorite dial. And I had another watch that we did a little hands-on with from Selton, which was a new micro brand, I guess you'd say, around $500. It also had a Meteorite dial from actually the same Meteorite as this. It's actually the same Meteorite that Zelos uses. The Meteorite itself has a Wikipedia page, and it references all of the luxury products that it has been used in.
How big is this Meteorite?
That's what I was thinking.
It's got a lot to give.
So I think there's like sections and chunks of it that have been discovered in like Scandinavia or something, and it's all part of the same Meteorite. Okay. So, but it's been like Rolls-Royce has used it, and in something in their car, maybe something on the dash or something like that.
Seems reasonable.
So. But it got me thinking about like how exotic materials like this are applied to watches, and not just Meteorite, which seems to be maybe a slightly trending thing right now, which also seems to be like potentially more accessible. I know Zelos has been doing it for a while, pretty reasonable price points as well. But I feel like I'm seeing it pop up a little more here and there. So I don't know what the process is like getting a hunk of this stuff to use in a product, but it's not just that. I think we see watches that have like pieces of famous ships in them, like the Titanic or something, or a famous airplane like Vermont does, and stuff like that.
That kind of like that trend, at least for like the historic, like that. Like I feel like I haven't seen a Bremont with a chunk of a Big Ben in it or something.
Talker did the D-Day. Talker did the D-Day.
Talker did, right.
Oh,
what's that? Rec watches. That was the whole theme of rec watches, and they're still around.
Yeah, they would take a hood or a door, and then punch out billets or whatever it would be, and then finish. So however many they would get out of that door is like however many watches they would produce, and it would be from some Land Rover or Aston Martin or something like that.
I was at a meetup in San Diego, and this one gentleman, and I forget the brand of the watch, but it had a piece of the Calypso of Jacques Cousteau's ship. So I thought that was pretty interesting. Yeah.
That's really gnarly.
Yeah. I don't know. I don't recall the watch. Yeah. But pretty interesting. Like, yeah.
Well, are you guys compelled by the Meteorite just as... I feel like this is two things. It's like there's a texture appeal, like a visual cool aesthetic appeal going on here, and then also like the idea of this rock from space. And
it's I mean, I actually find it quite aesthetically appealing. There's a name for that pattern, and I can't remember what it is.
Weipenhofen's.
Yes, that's it.
Just named to be there.
Yeah, no, exactly. It's like it sounds like Hefeweizen, but it's like it's something like that. Yeah, and it's like it has to do with the kind of patterning of the iron, which only exists in Meteorites has something to do with how they're formed in the outer space lands. But then those are, it's also extremely ancient.
Yeah. Yeah, that's right. So
should that add value?
It's just
potentially
cool, it's like
there's only so much of this stuff that reaches us, and we happen to be on a geologically active planet that has tectonic plates and all this stuff that moves around us, right? So it's like constantly churning up the actual literal material of the earth that we mine and ore and all that kind of stuff to use from the material. So this is kind of like a literal piece of it's just been kind of like frozen in time, so to speak, in its state that has fallen to earth in its in this form. So but are you more compelled by what it looks like or that fact?
In the same sense, I feel the same way about stone dials. Like, you get the product image on the site, and you're never going to get that exact patterning. Like, if you enjoy what they've displayed because it's made in nature, the stone dial you might receive or the meteorite dial you might receive in this instance isn't quite going to look the same. And sometimes I feel like the pattern doesn't really align with the dial as neatly as perhaps the watch they elected to use in the product shot. So that always bothers me.
Very Patrick. I'm
very particular, and I can't deal with nature.
This one striation doesn't perfectly align with
it's the continuity is not...
disorder is not the way of the Patrick.
No, I can't deal with that kind of chaos. No. I do like the fact that they've sort of paired... So I feel like they've honored the meteorite in a nice way here. I've seen plenty of meteorite dials just slapped onto watches. They've got... no offense to Zealous, I feel like they like to use meteorite a lot, and more oftentimes than not, it's meteorite on the dial this time, but then all the other features or details are very similar to their standard stock fare, where this is the case in the bracelet design. There's some sort of coating on here to sort of match the meteor, the bezel insert, and the lume is colorized to match the meteor's tone. Yeah. It's I don't know. It's well thought. It's well conceived. I like this attempt.
Yeah, I think this was nice. We had it next to the Celton, and the Celton had visibly less contrast.
It didn't have quite the dramatic
put a
grain.
lacquer over this thing or something that had...
well, I think there might be some etching that you need to do or something to bring out.
That's going to bring it out.
But I don't know if the brand does that or if the supplier of the materials do that, because obviously this has to be cut into some sort of blanks, I don't know.
And is it just a super thin piece that's put on top of like a piece of steel or something?
Oh, or is it the whole thing?
Or is it like a literal kind of 2 millimeter thick?
Well, I mean, you still have movement height concerns and all that stuff. They couldn't really increase the thickness of the watch, so it's got to be as thick as a standard dial.
Yeah. Maybe that's why this is dateless, because they couldn't cut into that form. Without
if it would maybe along those lines or something like that.
So you see it round. I guess you never see. I mean, you'd have to look at a lot of watches if there's ever a hole through it. Rolex did a bunch of meteorite dials the other year.
Did they?
Yeah, they have a GMT with a meteorite dial. They have Daytonas
that must have a date.
With the that watch has a date. Yeah, but it has a frame around the date, and the non-meteorite dial does not.
Interesting. So
yeah. But the Daytona has it. I mean, it's something that they've
like the Cosmograph. I mean, kind of like is the perfect
Cosmograph,
right? Isn't that the perfect reference to
call it that? Yeah.
Yep. I don't know. I thought
some people call it Daytona.
Cosmograph. Yeah, with the Cosmograph. Yeah,
Cosmo's in the name. I'm like,
it's a cool name.
Cosmograph.
Cosmograph.
All right.
Yeah, I think the 116519 and 1815 has and 115 and 08 would have it. Yeah.
Right. Numbers. Yeah, those ones. I believe you.
All the numbers.
I feel like
the white gold and the yellow gold.
Have you ever been compelled to get a meteorite watch? Has one ever? Why? Is it the same reason as me?
I don't know why. No. I don't mind that. There's something a little maybe aggressive about it to me. I find it very interesting, to look at. I would like having a piece on my desk to see, for instance. But there's something a little more organic and beautiful about a stone dial that I think maybe I find slightly more appealing. So,
and they're more common too. You can just pull up stones anywhere.
Yeah, that's yeah. What is this, a rock? But no, I mean how Piaget does it and all that. I think they do some really beautiful stone dials.
Another interesting use of weird meteorites. I just remember this was the Hermès Arc butchering this. Keep this all in. Arc le de la Lune. I gotta learn French. Didn't you speak French?
No.
Arc of the hour moon.
Well, yeah, it's that
right?
really awesome moon phase that they made.
Yeah,
where,
I know. We love this.
The whole dial is a moon phase with 2 satellite subdials that have the time and the date respectively, and those then reposition as they move around to stay oriented towards 12. Absolutely incredibly gnarly watch. And they released a handful of them with bizarre meteorite dials. So there's like lunar meteorite. I don't know what that means. And there was one that there was like matte black. I was looking at this.
From Mars? Or no, from
the black
the
Sahara meteorite. So like there's different meteorites that can be sourced, but if you look at this meteorite, it does not at all have that texture. Yeah, instead it has this like almost soapstone-y kind of like.
I like that.
But it's probably even rarer.
But I don't.
It's
that's
totally
interesting.
Beautiful, though.
Yeah,
that patterning is not what I associate with meteorite, though. That's so interesting. Like I normally see.
Because I think that's like the meteorite that's been in the news.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And like on products that we see are apparently all from this one stinking meteorite.
Right. Let's go to Black Sahara's wiki.
But yeah, but this one, but I mean, you keep in mind, like that's just a term that we have for something generally like falling to Earth. That doesn't say anything about like its origins or where it came from, and that requires obviously a different level of like material analysis and all this kind of stuff of the metals and how they can figure out that it came from like it originated here or maybe hit like this and then came over here or something like that, I guess. I'm not an expert though, but I'm just like that looked very different, and that was very pleasing to me.
So, and it works so well with the moon phase.
Those watches,
it's like
they're graily. Yeah,
beautiful.
They're like 40 grandish or something.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, that's all.
That bad.
So what would is there material that we haven't seen used in watches that you guys would like to see?
More cheese watches.
Yes. There is a cheese watch.
I know.
More. We need more.
So okay, you say that, but then what if like the holes in the dial aren't what you see in the picture from the Swiss cheese?
Does it still have that cheesy smell? Does it still capture the essence of cheese?
So is a Swiss cheese dial like a skeleton dial then? Like just because
so many holes.
It's the case that's cheese.
Right. Oh, thank you.
Moser, if you're listening, we
kind of open heart.
Right.
Yeah.
I would love to see like
what cheese do you want? Parm. I want a parm. Sorry.
I would love to see like an actual amber, like a piece of amber. I don't know why. I feel like amber is so beautiful. It's sort of the color of this whiskey that is here, a little darker, more orange.
Glenrothes is 12.
And like I feel like that utilized well would have a really beautiful sort of hue to it, with or without a trapped insect.
A mosquito. With some
trapped
DNA.
Insect.
Okay. Some sort of larvae.
As soon as you said amber, I thought Jurassic Park.
Yeah,
I'm sure the rest of the audience.
But anyway, I don't know. It's very pretty.
Yeah, I mean,
they use in jewelry.
Yeah.
If not a dial, maybe like something like on the markers or
a pusher.
Yeah, that would look cool. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, it'd be semi-transparent. It'd be cool to see the movement through that kind of dial. Yeah. I wonder how it would work as a dial. Next LE.
Amber,
got the power. Let's just source some amber.
Kind of like Cartier Jace, or the Santos Jace. Just have that instead of the sapphire, like a little amber,
Ooh, a little cabochon.
Yeah.
Or they call it something else. I don't know.
I don't know what that
Small
is.
sapphire.
So I'm just
like the cabochon, like in the crown.
Yeah. Is that just in reference to a precious gemstone there, or is it specifically sapphire? I have no idea.
No idea.
Why? What material would you go for?
I don't know. Like I like thinking about like if you open up the periodic table of elements and you look at some of the like crazier stuff. Let's get like crazy. I want like that's why when the Porsche Design did like titanium carbide or something, I was like, what?
Yeah. What is this?
So
depleted uranium dial.
Preferably one of the more stable elements, right? Or their constituent isotope pairings, I guess would be, I don't know, would be kind of cool. So and then even if it looks like the same, that you could just say, like the brand, there's a whole brand called Isotope, perfect opportunity.
Yeah. Guys, wear your alloys.
Yeah. But you know, I mean, you see like straps made of like old baseball gloves and stuff like that. I'm surprised we don't see more.
Or like the fruit leather, like apple straps, or like mushroom straps. There's a bunch of
organic materials. I feel like are also kind of a big thing right now with the like apple core straps and stuff like that.
Yeah. You just toss them away. I see a strap.
Yeah, exactly.
Unfortunately, actually, a lot of that stuff, not to burst everyone's bubble, but a lot of that stuff is like mixed with vinyl, and that's like. I was talking to a strap company about this because I was interested. And they're like, yeah, like some of it's good, but a lot of it is purely marketing. Like it's vegan, so they throw some fruit pulp in there, but then it's made out of vinyl, and it's completely and utterly like terrible for the environment.
Ooh.
So double check your sources on that stuff.
But they can say.
But yeah, you can say bio.
This is made out of an apple.
Exactly.
There's probably like a required like percentage of that strap that has to be like fruit.
If there's a way to sell something through a scam, it's being done. You know.
Well, I'm still upset we didn't come up with the idea of like offering carbon offsets. You know, to say you're carbon neutral, which you can just like pay into something that offsets that to get you to neutrality.
Yeah,
so
like the carbon's still out there.
It's still there. Yeah, we're not doing anything.
Still made it and put it on the environment.
Yeah,
but
so,
calling out no brands.
Yeah.
Give me $20. I'll give you 20 bucks of clean air. I don't know.
Trust me.
Yeah, I'm good for it.
It's gonna be cleaner.
You know, whereas like the Founders All Day IPA, like beer can dial, and like I'm surprised we don't see more of that kind of stuff.
Yeah, that's easy.
That's out there.
That's easy to do.
There's all kinds of like cool, just weird things like that I feel like you could turn into a dial.
I like
well, that count. Sorry, go ahead.
No. I like. I used to rock hounds, which is to go out and collect gemstones. But I had like a piece of fire agate, and I've never seen fire agate used on a dial. I've seen tiger's eye used on a dial. There's a lot of cool crystals out there that you can use for dial. I'm assuming it depends on the hardness, I suppose, of the dial. Or the hardness you can get out of how thin you need to cut said material. But I've always loved fire agate. I'd love to see that used if we're talking about materials. It's very cool when it's polished.
Fire agate. Okay.
Yeah, I'll show you some.
Never
pictures.
actually felt compelled at all, though, to pick up a stone or a dial like this. Like, talking about them, they're very pretty. You look at them.
Kid.
The only one maybe is that I probably the closest to or would like in the future would be aventurine glass, which we talked about, which I feel like is sort of in the same category of these other things. It's like a precious sort of jewelry-esque material, but it's not a naturally occurring material.
Yeah, I guess it's hard. Like it really depends on how you think about watches, and I think most of us here maybe think about them as kind of practical tools that we like use and do things with, and not like I wear it to dress up and it's like jewelry and all that kind of thing. So
Formex did a malachite essence just like recently. They launched it at Wind Up. I think they sold out really quick.
Oh, did they?
That's like an interesting, like a sporty case with a malachite's like a green with sort of bands going through it. But there's a market for it. I mean, I feel like brands used to drop stone dials and they'd be like, what?
Yeah, super exotic. I feel like there's a market though for what you're talking about. Like I can see a guy that would want a Pabst Blue Ribbon dial.
Yeah. Give me the Pabst Blue Ribbon,
right? Like 56 diameter dial, just to get the whole name in there, But I'm telling you, like if they sold, you box topper Bud Lights, you get your own Bud Light watch. I can see that.
They definitely
more.
used to do like Coke can bezels and stuff. I don't remember what brand, but you used to see that like. Sort of like novelty brands. Yeah, because you compress the aluminum down.
So you're saying like it's a Coke dial. You mean like it's actual Coca-Cola
dial. Actual Coke dial, yeah. It's or like baseball cards or basketball cards that have like a little piece of a game-worn jersey that's like in the card.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
so.
Yeah, don't ruin your Michael Jordan rookie card for a watch dial, though, okay?
Yeah.
It's not a flex.
Oh, you're thinking the other way? Yes. No. Put a piece of my baseball card in my watch dial.
It's Michael Jordan's face.
Here's $1 million idea. Just find all the Pogs that are out there and start a watch brand on old Pogs.
That'd be amazing. Yeah. We should just play Pogs on one of these podcasts.
Just like,
Did everybody here collect them? Like, I definitely collected
Pogs. I had pals that collected Pogs. I know I collected them, but
that was
ages ago.
I'm a bit older.
You're 80s, I'm 90s. I remember Pogs.
I feel like that wasn't on my radar. Like,
but I was so young, so I just feel like you were like an infant when I was pogging.
There's still
kid, I was pogging when you were still in diapers.
I had my slammers and my pogs.
You should do a pug dial watch. I feel find the brand that's willing to.
You can I'm sure you could go to eBay and probably buy like 30,000 pogs for like $10 or something.
Oh, that'd be amazing.
That'd be hilarious. Also, prank gift for
upcycled
somebody. Like,
pog.
2 tons of pogs show up to your door. happy birthday.
Yeah. And then soon it will be like video game cartridges and stuff like that.
Seriously.
I'm sure I've seen like a coin inside of a watch.
Oh, it's definitely coin watches.
Yeah.
Quorum, I don't know if that's just like the design, if it's like literally.
Yeah.
Did Omega do that?
Coin.
There's been many coin watches. I think Quorum definitely still does it, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Quorum's still around, right?
Quorum's around.
Quorum's
Bubble,
around.
bubble, quorum bubble thing.
Quorum bubble. Yeah, that's right. Yeah. Well, what would you put into what would you make a dial out of? Let us know. We'd be curious.
I feel like Jacob and Co. has probably put some weird shit in their watches.
Yeah.
It's probably like lit cigars. Floating around, they never burn out or something.
Still lit.
Perpetually lit Cuban cigars.
They've like
Cuban
isolated
cigar tourbillon.
The ash like burns extremely slowly. It'll last a good 80 years.
Yeah, then I was a piece of the original Constitution.
Declaration of Independence.
Yeah, you want the Hancock on your dial. That's kind of cool. I like the lit cigar dial.
I'll pitch that.
Yeah,
this is a perfect blending of that episode of Futurama, where I think they all get $300 in like a government refund or something, and Bender wants to get this cigar. But it's like rolled in a piece of the original Constitution, and it's but it's like $10,000, so he just buys $300 worth of like burglary tools instead, so he can break into and steal it. And Fry drinks all the coffee. It's a good episode.
That sounds like a good episode.
So I miss Futurama. Anyways, let us know what you think watch dials should be made of. Let us know your thoughts on Meteorite dials. We'd also be curious to hear about that. We'll have links to all this stuff, including this Meteorite dial Zodiac. I think they didn't they have a version with like orange stuff on it too?
Yeah, that was a Watches.com exclusive, I believe.
Watches.com
very nice looking.
Okay.
The orange, it's funny because you're saying the gray tones work really well, which they do. That one also had orange, which surprisingly worked well in the gray environment.
Yeah, it was cool.
It was like,
right.
It kind of sounded like it wouldn't work, but it did.
That was cool.
Yeah, it was
Not
nice.
too much orange, just like enough orange.
Just the right amount of orange.
Touch of orange.
A pop, you might say.
Yeah.
A soupçon.
Essence of orange. Yeah.
Because I know people hate it when us watch reviewers, us evil folks, say a pop of color. So should we go soupçon? Right.
Soupçon of orange.
Exactly.
I feel like our French is getting better as like the
Yeah.
show's going.
What was it when I tried to
it's
say
getting
before?
better, yeah.
Arc de la lune. It's like I'm
end of 2023. We're gonna
a
have
lot
all
of
these
French friends. I'm
Yeah.
sorry to all of you. Please keep sending us watches.
Yeah.
All right, if you're still listening, thank you for sticking around. Tune in next week. Maybe we'll do some special holiday
or not
Thanksgiving
watch thing. I don't know.
Wayfair.
Let's see.
What do you guys wear watches on your
some
holidays?
stuff going on. Going to Grand Seiko. You're going to Nashville.
Yeah, we've got some cool stuff coming up.
To recount, perhaps.
Yeah. Oh, crap. I should have mentioned it on last week's podcast. Well, we're doing a meetup in Nashville. By the time this comes out, it will have
had a meetup and
happened, and it went brilliantly. Thank you to everyone who came out. We love seeing you, especially you. You know who you are.
Yeah. I see you back there.
Yeah,
I see you listening.
We'll have a recap of that with maybe some watch spotting. It was with Kat Shoulders and myself. So hopefully we're doing a lot more of that kind of stuff in the near future. So if you live in a city or a place or a town or the middle of nowhere and you want us to come and have a watch meetup
somewhere, let us know.
Let us know. We'll come and hang and talk watches and drink some Glen Rothus.
Yeah.
Is that what it
the
is?
Glen
And
Rothus.
all day IPAs.
Yeah.
So shout out Founders in Michigan. There, good stuff. All right, that is our show today. Thank you for tuning in, and until next time, take care.